Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Friday Charge, brought to you by Geek Studios. As always, we are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, and today, April 3rd, 2026, we've got a lot to talk about as Joel hits his desk. Subaru's got a 3-row EV now. We're getting a different EV that we should all be excited about. Google Maps has got some new stuff, and we've got like 3 or 4 other topics on here. This might be a long episode, so without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right. Our first topic of the night. Joel, are you excited?
I am kind of excited. I'm excited about this one. I kind of gave a teaser of it a couple weeks ago when we talked about Subaru on one of our Wednesdays episode, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so Subaru's 3-row EV is here. At this week's New York International Auto Show, Subaru pulled the wraps off their new 3-row electric SUV called the Getaway. That is such an interesting name.
It is.
The Getaway. Anyway, if you remember us talking about the Toyota Highlander EV last month, then some of this may be familiar because this new 3-row SUV is also a result of the Toyota partnership and shares pretty heavily with that car, but there are some differences we'll talk about as we go through. Like the Highlander EV, the Getaway will be built here in the U.S. in Toyota's Kentucky factory. And let's talk about some specs. And this is where you'll see some of these differences from the Highlander. For starters, at launch, this will be equipped with a 95.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack with a 77 kilowatt-hour unit coming later. The 95.8 kilowatt-hour pack should be good for over 300 miles of range. On that same pack, Toyota is claiming 320 for their Highlander, so I would think similar. That said, all Getaways are all-wheel drive. I can't remember if there is a Highlander trim that is not all-wheel drive. And speaking of all-wheel drive, one difference between the two is power. The Getaway is the most powerful Subaru, I think, ever, with 420 horsepower on its standard all-wheel drive system, which is 82 horsepower more than you get on the Highlander's all-wheel drive system. For charging, it seems to have a pretty similar profile to the other Toyobaru EVs. You get 150 kilowatt claim peak charge rates and a 10 to 80 time of around 30 minutes. This is pretty average compared to other EV offerings, but I would really like to see Toyobaru push the envelope a bit more to increase that peak rate, especially because now we're talking about a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, 95.8, 100, close enough. Just for comparison, the Kia EV9 has a 99.8 kilowatt hour battery pack and charges at nearly 200 kilowatts, so 2C, and has a 10 to 80 time of 24 minutes, which I know that's only 6 minutes faster, but it's 6 minutes faster.
Of course,
that vehicle also uses 800 volt architecture, so it uses half the number of amps to get to its peak charge rate and all that, which accounts for some of those improvements, but I digress. I just would like to see the envelope pushed a little bit more. Right now, all of Toyota and Subaru's EVs charge the same, essentially, and they haven't really pushed that much. I would like to see a little bit further movement on faster speeds from the companies. This vehicle, like all of Subaru's other newly introduced EVs, is NACS native, and the brand states they will have a V2L adapter for it soon, and are planning a V2H setup as well. We don't know power output for these solutions, but we do know that the car has a 1500 watt household outlet in the cargo area in the meantime. And speaking of, let's talk about dimensions and cargo areas and all that jazz. As for overall vehicle size, it's pretty similar to the Ascent. The exterior is technically a few inches shorter in most of the dimensions, but because it has a stretched wheelbase, because it is an EV, it has a larger interior passenger space. The interior will be available in both 6 and 7 passenger versions, depending if you want caption chairs or a bench seat in the second row. Subaru is stating that 3 6-foot-tall individuals should be able to sit comfortably back to back in this car, so one in each row, so passenger seat, but behind that one and behind that one. We'll see. Cargo space is decent with 45.6 cubic feet with the third row down, which is more than you'll find in the EV9. With the third row up, that number is 15.9 cubic feet, which is actually less than the Ascent in the EV9. Continuing on the interior, there are cup holders galore. Subaru's real proud of that, like the Ascent. It has 3-zone climate control with third-row vents, USB-C ports literally everywhere, and on upgraded trim levels, you'll be able to get heated seats in every row and ventilated seats for the first 2 rows. Swanky.
Yes.
The car doesn't feature a front trunk, but Subaru thinks you'll be okay with that, as most versions of the car will come with roof rails. And Subaru wants you to know that you can attach roof racks and roof boxes and all sorts of other stuffs to carry your extra junk you can't fit in the car. Because of course Subaru would market that instead of just giving you a front trunk.
True.
A big improvement on this vehicle. This is the first Subaru to launch with actual route planning. This was about a bit of a sticking point on Subaru's other EVs that they've recently introduced this year, like the Solterra and the Uncharted and the Trail Seeker, which to this date still will not have route planning, or don't have route planning. Subaru has not committed if it's going to come in an over-the-air update, etc. And in 2026, that's just
standard,
a basic thing you should have in a car. This will be the first one to have route planning. Who knows if it's any good? Yet to be seen. But of course, the Highlander EV, because it's the same software stack, also will have the route planning, and the Toyotas are in the similar state as the Subaru EVs. Also, we don't know pricing on this yet. Subaru is expecting a launch in October of this year, so I'm sure we will hear pricing soon. All right, speeds and feeds, I'm done. Joel, what do you think?
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. So you're right. I kind of got EV9 vibes, especially around the front. Maybe not so much the rest of the car because the EV9 looks a little more boxier. But yeah, like you said, just some highlights: 10 to 80%, 30 minutes. That's the standard. It is NACS. Yay for that. That's the supercharger network.
And front passenger side.
And the front passenger side, which is
so we're good.
We're good. It's on the right side.
Correct.
Yep, it's on the correct side. Not the correct location, but correct side. That's where we want it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I mean, me and my wife have been kind of looking at our crystal ball when her lease is up in 2.5 years. Like, what's the next car you're going to get? She's like, I really don't want another EV9. I want to do something different. So Highlander and the Subaru, now we can call it the Getaway, are going to be intriguing options if they're not $90,000 or $80,000. So I'm assuming they'll probably be around the same price, hopefully, as the EV9, probably a little more expensive, maybe on the base model.
I'm guesstimating just kind of based on what we've seen for Subaru's other EVs. The Uncharted is 35, the Solterra is like 37, and the Trail Seeker's 39.
So 49?
I'm guessing 45, 48.
For the low end?
For the base models with the smaller battery.
And that's what Kia EV9s are basically right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
That's my guess. I could be wrong.
This is cool. I mean. And I kind of stated this when I talked about Subaru. Everyone else is pulling back, and now we have Subaru and Toyota saying, "Nope, full speed ahead for us. We're marching on." Yep, we're gonna have something in every market, especially Toyota. Like, hey, we got hybrids, we got gas cars, we got EVs, like a buffet. You just go in there and pick whatever you want. So yeah, pretty excited about this. You said next year, 27,
October of this year. So yeah, for 2027 model year.
Oh, so we should be getting some more information on this real soon. Then hopefully,
I would think so.
Good. Excited. Like the front. I really do like the front. I don't have any pictures pulled up anymore, but I kind of like the front. It's a little bit more aero than the EV9.
Yeah, it's very flat. It's very,
but it has more curved on the edges, like without the EV9. EV9 is just flat the whole way across, which is not bad. But yeah, pretty cool. Excited about it.
Cool. You want to know another car you should be excited about? And you actually have already talked about this one some, but we're going to bring it up now because I'm excited about it too.
Spoiler alert. Go on.
Holy smokes, guys. We're getting the EV3. So everyone, it's time to celebrate once the forbidden fruit for North America. Kia this week announced that they are bringing the Kia EV3 to the US of A, and they expect deliveries to begin as early as this summer. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The Kia EV3 debuted back in 2024 for the overseas market, and it's been doing pretty dang well. But Kia was fairly adamant we would not get it here at the time. But I guess they've changed their tune. Here's some of the specs you can expect on this new model. This should be familiar if you're familiar with the EV3, but it's been a little while since we talked about it. So just some quick recap for you. This car rides on the Hyundai Kia eGMP platform. However, it is the 400-volt variant, not the 800-volt variant, which you'll find in the Ioniq 5 and 9 and the EV6 and 9. We'll be getting 2 battery sizes here in the US. The small battery, which is definitely aimed towards commuters, is 58.3 kilowatt hours with 220 miles of range. And the big battery, which I imagine will be the most popular version, is 81.4 kilowatt hours, good for 320 miles of range. Since these are 400-volt cars, their DC fast charging times are slower than their other eGMP counterparts. 10 to 80 on this vehicle is closer to 30 minutes compared to the 20 minutes on the new EV6s. For the North American market, this car is NACS native with the port located on the front passenger side. The EV3 is also going to support vehicle to load like the other Hyundai Kia models, and there will be vehicle to home support if you get the correct home charging system. Power is fine for a small hatchback. You get 261 horsepower on the base trims, but there is a GT version as well that
Yeah,
will have
baby. Spicy.
288 horsepower. It's only a 20 horsepower difference. It's a little confusing to me. But you also on the GT will get the fake shifting and the fake engine noises and etc. like you find on the EV6 GT and the Ioniq 5N. One thing Kia has not told us yet is pricing. But I would expect based on overseas pricing and kind of in the whole trying to fit it in their lineup, it's probably going to start somewhere in 30, 35 grand is kind of my guess for a small battery car.
That would be a sweet price.
But we'll see once it comes to launch. They've also not really said, are they importing them? Are they going to be spinning up to build them? What are we doing? I'm assuming that they must be importing them because I feel like they would have come out and said if they were building of the US as a marketing point. But interesting to see how that will play with tariffs and whatever. Does that affect pricing? Does it end up being higher than maybe we think it should be because of tariffs and that whole situation? I don't know. I want to speculate with you for a minute.
Let's speculate.
What the heck is going on with the EV6?
So this is interesting. So if you haven't watched, I have a kind of a deep dive, and Sebastian kind of just did it for me. But if you want to just hear a little bit more about the EV3 and not listen to us talk for 45 minutes tonight, check out the video I released last Wednesday. So I was doing some research on this. You kind of go down some rabbit holes. A couple rabbit holes, Reddit, things that they've heard from dealers is that this could possibly replace the EV6. Now, I was thinking it would replace the Nero EV. That makes more sense that it would replace the Nero, because that's about the same price. But a lot of things I'm hearing online is we already know they discontinued the GT model in the US. So you did know that, right? Yeah. So that's been discontinued.
We talked about it a few weeks ago.
And I didn't realize this off topic. I was sitting behind actually wanted to carpool today. I didn't realize that at some point, we may have talked about this, they moved the charging port to the other side.
That was with the switch to NACS.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. So that was a newer GT.
So that it'd be on the correct side.
Yeah. But that's what I'm hearing. It is now almost early April of 2026, and there has been zero confirmation of a 2026 Kia EV6. We've got confirmation of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 2026. We got an EV9 2026. We have a 2026 Ioniq 9. Crickets on the EV6. So
yeah. And
we shall see moving forward.
We have no pricing for EV6 in 2026. There's not been any model changes. They've not announced anything about it, but they're bringing the EV3 in theory, in 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. And it would make sense, even if you're not changing anything, which is fine, just slap a new number on. So here's the new EV6. Right. We're not changing anything. It's just a new year.
No, I've seen some talking about just, well, they're not doing a 2026 right now because there's too much dealer inventory or whatever, which could be the case, but I feel like you should just come out and say it.
Coming soon to a dealer near you, 2026 EV6. Come out
and then
in
just
June
hold
or July.
off on, right. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'd be curious to see with the launch of the EV3 if EV6 sticks around. I mean, I agree with you. In my mind, this is a Nero EV replacement. We kind of already know the Nero EV is going away, and this will fill that hole in the market and should
be so much
compete.
better. So yeah,
and should compete pretty well with the things like Chevy Bolts and Nissan Leafs,
Equinox,
and I mean even base model Ioniq 5, or because base model Ioniq 5 has a small battery and starts at like 35, 36 grand. But maybe you don't want a car that big. Maybe you want the more boxy styling from the Kia, etc. I could see this being a pretty solid little competitor in the small EV segment. It's just, I'm curious to see how it ends up actually fitting in Kia's lineup. Do they make room for it? Do they just add it without changing anything else? I don't know. It's just curious to me.
So now I have a question for you, and that's why I'm stopped on this picture on the screen. Sebastian, you have issues with the back of Kias. What do you think of
I
this?
do.
What do you
It's
think?
fine.
Is this
It looks
one
it's fine.
looks like a Sorrento or something like that. Yep.
It looks like a smaller EV9. I'm fine with this.
All right.
Yeah.
Yay. It passed.
I think the EV3
Sebastian
looks
test.
good.
Good.
Really, the only Kia I have huge issues with
is the
EV4.
Yep.
And specifically the sedan.
Yep. He has back issues, so the back part issues. So yeah. All right. So yeah, it's totally really excited about this one. I mean, this would be a really nice car. It's going to be bigger than the Nero, most likely. So yeah, I mean, pictures of the interior. I probably showed some, but here are some more.
I want to say, from what I've seen people talk about, it should be fairly similar size to the new Bolt.
Really?
Let me go to a website real quick.
Yeah, someone told me it's a couple inch, maybe 1 or 2 inches longer than a Bolt.
I forget.
It just looks big. It looks bigger than a Bolt. It looks bigger.
Yeah, one sec. I'm doing some small research real quick. I think this should work. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Kia EV3, boom. And then for this car, we will do a Chevrolet.
So 30
Bolt
inches of Toyota of total combined display. So it's going to use the all-in-one display, 3-in-1 display like the EV9 and the new EV6 does, which is good. Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. I don't know what ads are on this page. Just before I click share, you've been warned. All right. I don't know if I've ever shown you this. Carsize.com is such a cool tool. So you can see I have down here at the bottom Chevy Bolt EV, Kia EV3. You can come up here, and right now I have them just centered on each other. And you can see, so the EV3 is in the background. You can see the Bolt is 169.3 inches, right? Is that what that says?
I can't. It's too small. I can't read.
Yeah. 169.3, and the EV9 is 169.5. So there is a 0.2 inch difference in length.
Wow.
There is a 2-inch difference in height between the two cars, and one of them sits 0.08 inches higher off the ground. But yeah, I just also really like, so you see I have them centered. You can also line them up by like rear wheel, front wheel, things like that. I just think it's such a neat little tool, and you can do this. I mean, they have all sorts of things in here. Like you can go.
That is cool. I never knew about that website. Sebastian, you never told me about this. I'm kind of mad at you.
Here we go. Silverado EV compared to a Chevy Bolt. Boom.
Me and Sebastian sent like 50 texts a day, and not one time did he tell me about this website. I'm going to hold that against you.
Here we go. Line them up front wheel to front wheel. You can put a whole second Chevy Bolt in between. Or front bumper to front bumper. There we go.
Yep.
And you can also compare to, you can put them side by side and see like side profiles and things like that.
Cool.
Anyway, super cool website. I don't remember how I discovered it once upon a time, but I find myself using it semi-frequently.
And speaking of GM
and the Chevy Silverado EV, completely on accident, was not on purpose. Good segue. GM is idling Factory Zero yet again. This week it was announced that GM has idled Factory Zero for the second time this year. This idling started on March 16th and is set to last until mid-April. For those not in the loop, Factory Zero is the home of the production of all GM's BAB vehicles, big-ass batteries. That's the Silverado EV, Sierra EV, Hummer EV, Escalade IQ. As mentioned, this is not the first time this year that they've done this, nor is it seemingly an uncommon occurrence for Factory Zero to kind of be in a state of turmoil. Back in October 2025, GM permanently cut a shift at the plant, which led to the layoff of 1,200 employees. And then they idled production back in October 2025 until later that year, briefly started back up, idled again, restarted in January of 2026 with one shift, and are idling it yet again. And their reasoning for this is just that they say they have too many cars sitting on lots, too many cars produced, not sold. No sense in continuing to build out cars to also just sit there. And unfortunately, that's not a huge surprise to me. I really like Silverado and Sierra and Escalade and Hummer. I like all of those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
But this plant builds GM's most expensive EVs, and I mean, the market for 80, 90, $100,000 EVs is not huge.
This is like the battery electric sister plant of the one in Dallas, because the one in Dallas builds all the big SUVs.
Yeah, the
So,
Arlington
yep.
assembly plant
The Arlington
where all
assembly,
the Tahoes and
Tahoes,
Yukons
Suburbans,
come
and
from. Yep.
regular
But
Escalades,
yeah,
all that. So yeah.
it's like, and I know the Silverado and Sierra both start much lower. You know, they start with their base model work trucks in the 50s to 60s, but even then, I mean, they option up quick and they get
They
expensive
do.
quick. And if you look at GM's numbers, I mean, Equinox is still doing well, but they also build Equinox somewhere else. The Cadillacs do well, but they build them somewhere else. I have a hard time seeing a situation where GM was ever going to be able to really make that $2.2 billion they spent on this factory back by selling $100,000 cars. The logic doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
Super cool. I mean, the Hamtramck, this was formerly known as the Hamtramck assembly plant. That's where they built the Chevy Volt with a V.
Mhm.
I drove one of those. I had one of those. That's the only reason I know that little tidbit of information, because there was a little sticker on it. Because you know, GM and the UAW automakers put the little stickers in random places on cars, and I just remember seeing that one. It was a really cool logo. I really liked it. But yeah, they converted it to Factory Zero with the whole Ultium transition. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see it. Hopefully they come back. I really need someone to keep making electric pickup trucks. That's kind of for the more regular person.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Rivian's still there. I love Rivian too, but I still want like at least an electric Silverado, please. You already get rid of my Lightning.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we can't say we didn't see it coming. I mean, we were looking at cars to review. I mean, some of the lots around here still have 2024s and 2020, a lot of 2024s and some
Yeah,
2025s on
one
them.
of the dealers we love working with still has 4 2024 Silverado
Yep.
EV RSTs on the lot. They've had them since they were new. They're low VIN number. They've just been there. No one wants,
They've been there.
people. It's not that no one wants them necessarily, but it's a $90,000 truck.
Yeah, it's
only so much.
expensive.
Bale,
And
I don't remember Bale Chevrolet, you know, when we had that Cars and Coffee thing, not Cars and Coffee, Drive Electric month, whatever, back in like October of 2024. They brought that black Silverado RST. Yeah, they still have it. It's a dealer, it's a dealer loaner now.
I think I saw a used one on their lot. I drove past there today to get my son. I think I saw a used white one on the lot too, because it was in the used EV section. So who knows?
They
But
still
yeah,
had that black one almost, and that was one of the first ones off the line. Like,
I mean, who knows? I mean,
there's not a huge market for these $90,000, $100,000 trucks.
No, but they're awesome. They're awesome trucks,
especially not in Central Arkansas. But
there's not a market for $135,000 Escalade IQ right now. So I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, the economy is not that great right now, and interest rates are still kind of high. So I mean, and all the, let's use our word for the day, geopolitical issues. I mean, we have to throw that in.
Joel, we made it so far.
We have to throw it into every episode. That's the Easter egg. When did Joel and Sebastian say the word geopolitical? So yeah,
we made it so far. I was making a conscious effort.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you. Doesn't these cars use Google Maps?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so Google Maps is gaining a new EV feature. This week, Google announced they're adding EV route planning to Google Maps for those using Android Auto to project their phones. Just of an important note, I'm going to say this on the front end because I get confused, and I know you get confused, and it's just very confusing. These tech companies don't know how to name things. Android Auto is the phone projection. Android Automotive is the built-in operating system that you'll find on like Equinox and the Ultium vehicles and things like that. So this feature is separate from the route planning featured on the Android Automotive cars with the built-in Google Maps.
There will be a quiz later.
Quiz later. Good? We're happy?
Yep.
And one of the big differences here is in Android Automotive. I'm making sure I enunciate because I want to make sure, we're really getting it. Google Maps is able to actually talk to the car, right? So it can get real-time state of charge from the car's BMS. It can trigger battery preconditioning, all that jazz. It knows your speed. It gets all that, live from the car. And the Google Maps for Android Auto, you actually do manually have to tell the app what SoC you're starting at. And the app is honestly kind of just guesstimating from that point on. So to use this feature, owners will tell Google Maps what they drive. Then Google uses AI. Of course, AI had to be involved in this, right? To determine the car's weight profile, battery size, etc., to estimate the vehicle's battery drain at various speeds and elevations. And it will factor weather and traffic details as well. You can also select the arrival state of charge, which is nice. You can also, and this is what I think is really nice, this implementation will actually show you what state of charge it wants you to charge up to in the route preview. This is one of my biggest gripes.
I got it pulled up right here on the
with
right.
the route planner on the Android Automotive version of Google Maps. So on Android Automotive, the native route planner, when you do this you type, I want to go to Austin, Texas, and it shows you, here's all your stops. All it will show you on that is you're going to get to the stop at a percentage, and it wants you to stop there for 30 minutes. It doesn't tell you what percent it wants you to charge at. And I know this is a champagne issue for people because it only really affects, I guess, me. But like when I'm reviewing a car and I'm trying to get an idea of charge curve or charge speed or whatever, it would be really helpful to know, okay, I'm starting at 17% and charging for 30 minutes. What's in percentages am I getting to? What does the car think it's going to add in a 30-minute charge session, right?
I just realized something in this map. I'll share it with you later. Go on.
Anyway, it's like, I know that might be just an issue for me, but I would really like to be able to see that data. And on the Google Maps for Android Auto version, it's actually not, it doesn't actually tell you how long to stop for. It just tells you you're charging from this percent to this percent. Also, I'm sure when you're on route in Android Automotive and you get to the charger, I'm sure it then tells you what to charge to. But I usually don't get that far in the process when we are like driving cars.
Yeah.
All right, Joel, what'd you see?
So, I mean, if you look at this map here on the right, I know it's just a stock image, but it says it's 24 minutes to get to these two locations, and it has you stopping for two charges, one from 14 to 67 and one from 13 to 49. I just saw that. So, I mean, it's just stock images. And it says with charging, it's going to take you 2 hours and 33 minutes to go 133 miles. But why does it say 24 miles over here? I don't understand what's going on.
Interesting.
Or maybe that's the first part of the trip. I don't know. So we should see. But as you can see in this here, it does show you like 14% to 67. And the next one is 13 to 49. And then you end with 31. So that is about right. But you shouldn't have to go that far and charge that much for that period of time. But it's just stock images or playing with stuff. Just made me laugh. Thought it was funny. We can move on. So, yeah, you can move on now.
Yeah, I don't have anything else really to say on it. One thing we don't know is, when is this coming to CarPlay? Is it going to come to CarPlay? If you want...
Go on, sorry.
If you just want true route planning, there's other things like a better route planner that you tie to an OBD dongle and things like that. If you want to get actual, like, accurate numbers where you're talking to the car.
Love it. And you can use it without one that guesstimates too, right? With better route planner.
Yeah.
You know what we haven't talked about in a while? We haven't talked about Tesla.
Oh gosh, you're forcing segues now.
It's bad.
We did it by accident one time, and now you're gonna be like, oh, now you want to do it every time.
I'm running this puppy till it's dry, Sebastian. We're running this puppy till it's dry.
I'm already sick, Joel.
I know. Take another swig of your flavored water if you need to.
Okay, sorry. I'll stop giving you a hard time. Everyone, say goodbye to the Model S and the Model X. As previously announced and previously discussed, Tesla is discontinuing their two original flagship models, and the company has announced that production is officially over. All the cars remaining are now whatever is in inventory. Tesla's site suggests that all the remaining inventory is located here in the US, and that there are roughly 600 vehicles still sitting around for sale. As previously announced, Tesla is going to be switching their Fremont plant away from the production of these two models, shifting the plant for the manufacturing of Optimus robots. So, not much else on this. If you want a Model S or Model X, get one now while you can, or wait and buy a used one and probably save a decent chunk of money, because these are still, for some reason, $96,000 to $100,000 cars.
Who knows why?
But nonetheless, I mean, it is a little, it's a little sad. This is, one of the OGs, right? Model S is one of the OGs,
one of the
OG
OGs.
EVs,
Yep.
especially one of the OG long range EVs and things like that. And like, for all their quirks and flaws or whatever, they're Model S, at least, is a solid car.
Solid road trippers. Yep.
So yeah, it's always
Yeah,
sad to see him go, especially sad to see him go to freaking robots, but that's a different topic for a different day.
I don't know if you knew this, next week, our Tesla service center here that just opened up is having a grand opening. Maybe we need to pour one out and head up there and take them out for one last ride around the block. So they have a
didn't have
couple up
any.
there. They had it. Oh, no, they didn't. No, they pulled them all the last couple weeks.
The only ones that were there for service.
Yeah, you're right, because they used to be there, and about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, right before we reviewed
They
a
went
car there,
away.
they pulled them.
Yep.
Well, shoot, never mind. Let's not do that. So, but we can have a little ceremony for it. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, besides being stupid expensive, they were really pretty solid cars. I mean, the X had its quirks with the Falcon wing doors and some of the sensors and issues with some of the original ones kind of leaking around the doors. But I mean, not a lot of room on the market for small 90,000, quote,
It's what we talked
SUV.
about before.
Yep.
The $90,000-$100,000 market range is not that big.
Nope. This is the year of the $30,000 EV. That's my catchphrase. So,
all right. Well, speaking of cheaper EVs, I just
love
did
it.
You're welcome.
You love it. I love it. I've grown on you. So,
the BZ has quietly moved towards the top. Toyota shared their Q1 sales figures, and the BZ's doing pretty good right now. They sold 10,029 units of the BZ in Q1 2026, which beats out its Q1 numbers by nearly 79%. It's amazing what happens when you cut the price of the car and you just make it better at the same time.
We're not asking for much. Just cut the price and make it better. I mean,
more surprisingly, the BZ beat out the Equinox for Q1, and it beat out the Ioniq 5 as well. I think it might be the third best-selling EV in Q1 for 2026, behind Model 3 and Model Y.
Interesting.
Also surprising to me, this one's going to surprise you, the RZ outsold all of Cadillac's EV models in Q1 2026. Mm-hmm. Which Cadillac has done pretty dang well with their EV models up until this point. I was a little surprised to see that. And since we're talking sales numbers, I'll just kind of give you a few. So again, BZ was at 10,029. Equinox EV moved 9,589 units in Q1 2026, which is 7.2% less than they did in Q1 2025. And the Ioniq 5 moved 9,790 units in Q1 2026, which is 14% more than they did in the same period in 2025. So interesting. Seems like Ioniq 5 might be on a rebound. Again, another example where it's amazing what happens when you make the car cheaper. They decrease pricing by almost 10 grand for the 2026 model year as soon as tax credits went away for model Ioniq 5. And Equinox is still holding its ground, but it does seem like it might be slipping a little bit. Yeah, I just thought this was interesting.
So did you talk about the RZ?
I did.
I'm sorry, I was scrolling. Is this article, if I'm reading it right, did the RZ sell more than the BZ?
No, I don't think so.
It says even the RZ Lexus SUV saw considerably higher demand, with sales up 206% Q1 to 4,456 units. Okay.
Yeah, the BZ did 10,029.
Gotcha. That's more than Cadillac, Optic, Vistic, and Escalade IQ. Well, Escalade too, 1,400. It's not bad. So yeah, I mean, if people don't understand, Toyota builds solid cars. So if you're going to build an EV and you are a solid car manufacturer, people are going to buy it. I mean, I would drive the new updated BZ. I mean, supercharging is 30 minutes, which seems to be the standard now. But I mean, I like it. I mean, look at that, 34.9 for the low end model. The most expensive one is 45.3. So another year of the $35,000 EV.
Yeah. So speaking of, Joel, talk about what you did this week. What have we released so far?
So yeah, I had a couple episodes this week. So Monday we talked about RIP, the Volvo EX30. Sorry. Which would have been this year of the $35,000 EV. But yeah.
And that was like 38, but we'll
38, yeah. Which when you start looking at these, you can see why the EX30 is being pulled, because spec wise, it couldn't compete with the BZ or a Uncharted or a maybe even a Kia EV3. It just
Right.
room wise and what you get, it just can't compete. You know,
Yeah.
it just can't. But yeah, so we talked about that. Had a little, farewell to that. It was a single motor, which is pretty cool. It is a tight, it's a small EV, y'all. It's just
Right.
it's not meant for this market. It's meant for Europe. It sells pretty good in Europe, I'm sure, because it's a tiny car. I will tell you this though. So I went to the EX30 page to post our review, because that's what I do a lot. I would say 90% of the responses on the EX30 page were trashing the EX30.
Hmm.
Turned it in, software sucks. They were all saying the software sucks. Car locked up on them, couldn't start. Phone to key didn't work, couldn't use the key fob to get in, locked out of the car. I was like, whoa, this is supposed to be like a fan page. It was not. So
Interesting.
don't know why that happened, but the weird things you find out. So then on Wednesday, we talked a little bit. So if you want a little deep dive about what Toyota has planned and what they're doing, we did a deep dive Wednesday, or I did a deep dive Wednesday on what Toyota had planned, and this is airing Friday. So Thursday, which for us is today, I did a video on the EV3. So yeah, so that's kind of the content that we had this week. But yeah, so 3 great videos to check out. 3, small, compact cars that are doing really good. So yeah, that's what we released this week. A lot of content. Those mini charge episodes aren't long, y'all. So if you watch our Wednesday, Thursday episodes, it's only 10 minutes of your time. So they're not very long episodes. It's one topic, quick deep dive, just let you know what's going on.
Yep.
But yeah, anything new with you this week, Sebastian, in the EV world?
No, I mean, we've seen a lot of new stuff come out from the New York International Auto Show, so it's been cool to keep up with that and see what's going on. I was a little disappointed Hyundai kind of gave us a nothing burger.
I'll say something just popped up about that. So you keep talking and I'll find that. So
Which, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but I just was expecting more than a concept car that looks like a Hyundai version of a Ford Bronco, in my opinion. And of course, they didn't mention anything about powertrain or anything, so it's probably not electric, but it could be. Who knows? They are claiming, I think, like 58 new models by 2030 for the U.S. market, which seems excessive. Of course, I'm sure that includes redesigns and things like that. But
So I did find this article where Hyundai previews 2 Ioniq EVs in cryptic video. Of course, I'm going to try to show the video, and it's going to want me to go to X. But yeah, so you can see some weird images. So on Hyundai's Chinese joint venture website, Beijing Hyundai has countdown for the Ioniq brand launch event set for April 10th.
Interesting. So since it's the Chinese joint venture, I'm assuming this is not something we will be getting here.
It does say that Hyundai will unveil the Ioniq 3 at the Milan Design Week later this month. Its new entry-level electric hatch. And the Earth and Venus next to join the Ioniq lineup. So that's where they may be what these may possibly be. I would play this trailer, but I'm scared. There we go. I paused it. So this was the little video that popped up. So we shall see from Hyundai.
We nuke the Earth.
We nuke the Earth.
The gym comes out.
This is like a doomsday thing from, yep. This is our first time watching it too.
Yeah, even after nuclear apocalypse, Ioniq remains.
So that's what we got.
That's what I got from that.
So I don't know if this is something comparable to like the EV4, EV5. This is going to be comparable to that, or just going to be something way out there. So
that is 22 seconds of my life I'll never get back. Thank you, Joel.
That's 20, about 30 of mine, because I actually find it and play it. So yeah.
I am curious if the Ioniq 3, once they announce it, if that is more if it's shared with like EV3, and if so, does that mean we will potentially get it here?
I mean, you think you would, or is it? Yeah. Have
we'll
we heard any news about?
It,
I can't remember. Kona, is Kona gone too? It is,
for the most part. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So yeah,
it's mostly gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of shocked, because Hyundai was full steam ahead, and we haven't heard anything new from them lately.
I mean, they have Ioniq 5, Ioniq 9. Both of them do pretty decently. So,
yep. I see more EV9s than Ioniq 9s on the road, but I see more Ioniq 5s than EV6s on the road. Just weird. Probably because of what they look like.
Which EV9's been around longer than Ioniq 9. So, I mean, that makes a little sense. Also, you and I kind of have the same opinion of EV9 looks a little better than Ioniq 9. Ioniq 5 and EV6 are
Ioniq 5 looks better than the EV6, I believe, too, even though
see,
I drive one.
I kinda think the style is a toss-up, but I think people probably are drawn more towards the Ioniq 5's more traditional SUV
Yeah,
crossover-y hatchback shape than the, very fastback, slick-back EV6 look.
yep, totally
America
agree with
loves
you.
their SUV crossover things.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, nothing new here with me this week in the EV world. So yeah, it's been a quiet week coming back from spring break. So I'm glad we had some news from the New York Auto Show that we were able to bring to you. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe we should have gone to New York, Joel.
I mean, you tried to go to Vegas, and did you for what was
Yeah,
in
but then I
Vegas?
just, didn't do it. Uh,
Yep,
EV Charge Summit. Yeah.
EV Charge Summit. That's right. So yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Maybe one week we'll go to the I think Las Vegas Auto Show's over Thanksgiving break. So maybe we can go
We'll
out
see.
there.
We'll
We'll
keep it
see.
we'll keep our options open.
We'll keep our options open. To help
Alright.
us out with that, become a paid sponsor, $5.
Paid member.
Paid member, get early content, helps us do cool stuff like, hey, maybe go to Las Vegas next year. But have to plug that in there. Sebastian's going to plug it again. So, Sebastian, take us out.
Yeah, so that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever platform you listen to your audio podcast news thing, whatever you want to call this, make sure you follow us on there, leave us a rating, like it, comment, whatever you do on that platform, because it does help the show grow. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.